Hello friends, welcome. Friends, we all know that recently SpaceX, that is Starlink, tied up with Bharti Airtel and Reliance Jio with the intent of providing satellite services in India. And because of that announcement or partnership, there were a lot of excitement all over the place. A lot of articles were written, right? Now, friends, after those flurry of articles which got subsided, then there is a period of lull because everybody is waiting for the TRAI's recommendation. TRAI had gone through a consultation process. Now they are going to give us the recommendation, and then only the DOT can come out with a clear-cut policy, the licensing structure on the basis of which these services are going to be allowed. Now, why I am doing this video today, friends? Because of this headline which you see right in front of you. This article was published on 9th of April 2025. Now here there is a very interesting player being talked about. The name of the player is Globalstar. Now Globalstar is an unknown player in India. Okay, but Globalstar is a very important player in US because it has tied up with Apple to provide satellite connectivity on commercial Apple iPhones. So let's say if you are carrying a commercial Apple iPhone and you are not within the coverage area of your mobile service provider, you are, let's say, in a mountain or in a river or in a forest or in the middle of the ocean, you can use your conventional mobile phone, the same commercial mobile phone, to communicate with your loved one without a terrestrial network. And who has provided this service? Globalstar. That is why this headline may be very important for us. Because this headline says, Globalstar, Apple Satcom Partners join the race to India's space communication market. So everybody is waiting for the market to get opened up. And therefore, Globalstar has also applied for maybe a license or already started the process of acquiring a license. Now friends, why I am doing this video today? The reason I am doing this video today is to talk about or analyze the constraint under which our current regulatory framework is placed for a partnership like Globalstar and Apple to function in India. That's the whole purpose, because the headline is very, very important. But unless you understand the constraint under which this whole situation is currently placed, you will not be able to visualize what kind of work that is required to be done in order for such partnership to work on ground, right? That is what I wanted to talk about here. Now, before I get into the details, I would like you to have a look at the frequency bands which were submitted by DOT to TRAI for the purpose of the consultation, which actually went on for such a long period of time. So let's look at the bands. So I'll just zoom a little bit for you to see. So look at this frequency band. All these frequency band are at higher frequency range. You can see 10 gigahertz, K and KU bands. None of these are at a lower frequency band, right? So first you can pause the video and look at this frequency band which are submitted by DOT to TRAI for the purpose of consultation, right? So that's one. Second thing is, we will look into Globalstar submission to TRAI and what they are talking about. Let's look at that. So for that, I have this Globalstar submission to TRAI. This was submitted on October 17, 2024, right? So this is Globalstar. This is Globalstar, right? And to Telecom Regulatory Authority, and it is saying comments from Globalstar in the terms and condition of the assignment of spectrum or certain satellite-based commercial services. Okay. Now I will go straight to the frequency band because that is very, very important. So let's go straight to the frequency band. This is the frequency band, right? We will not talk about the gateway part of the band because the gateway part of the band is not a very, very big bottleneck. The main bottleneck is this, because this is the access part. Now, I'm going to show you the diagram, how these frequency spots are going to work from a point of view of satellite communicating to the mobile and the mobile communicating to the satellite, or the ground-based device communicating to the satellite. But let's look at the frequency range. There are two frequency range, which is 2483.5 to 2500. Another is 160 to 168.725 megahertz. Now, viewers, you don't have to be a technical you don't have to have a technical understanding what the frequency spots are. You just have to know the ballpark range of this frequency bands are quite different from what the DOT has given to TRAI for the purpose of the consultation process, which is currently on. Means there is a constraint in the frequency band. But I'm not saying that these are the only frequency band which will finally get opened up. I'm basically talking about the frequency band which DOT is saying that, look, these are available for assignment. Please look into these frequency band. That's all they are saying. But the Globalstar frequency bands are quite different because they are focusing on these frequency bands. And I'm going to take you through the network diagram, how it works, right? So there is band called L-band. L-band is the band which is 160-1618.725. Another is S-band. The S-band is the satellite which is hanging in the sky talking to the mobile Earth device. And the L-band, which is colored green, is talking to the satellite which is called the uplink, and this is S-band is the downlink, and C-band I'm not even discussing because this is not a major constraint. These are the access frequencies, and therefore these needs to be available throughout the country for the whole system to work. And the C bands can be localized in a very, very small area. Therefore, it can be geographically separated so that there is no problem. So I am not discussing about the C band because these are ubiquitous throughout the country. It has to be available. It has to work throughout the country. Now, friends, there is a problem here. I wrote an article long back, and I'm going to show you the article which I wrote. This is the article which I wrote. The title of the article was Bridging the Gap, Exploring the Challenges and Opportunities of Direct to Mobile Satellite Connectivity. And here I had discussed all options, right? Including that of Globalstar. And I showed the diagram also. Means both L-band as well as for S-band, right? Which is coming from directly the submission from Globalstar TRAI, input to the TRAI consultation process. Now, the problem that we have in India is that the S-band, which is the band from 2483.5 to 2500. So if you go below here and you see here this one, this is the S-band. You can see that this S-band is completely occupied by NAVIC. It is not available, right? So if the S-band is completely occupied by NAVIC, then if you are going to communicate to the mobile device, so this link is not going to be available. Which one? So let me just zoom in a little bit to show you. This is the satellite. This is the downlink. This S-band from 2483.5-2500 is completely occupied by NAVIC. So this link is not available. But what about this link? L-band 160-1621.35. Now for that, let's investigate this a little bit deeper to understand whether this L-band portion is available or not. Because, first of all, if one leg of the band is not available, then this is not going to be a bidirectional communication. It will become a unidirectional communication. But my understanding is, even if it is a unidirectional communication and only one of the link is available, still it is going to be useful, because what Globalstar can do is it can deploy some IoT devices on ground. It is not going to work on conventional mobile, Apple mobile, because both the links are going to be essential. One is not available in India. But if only the uplink is available, the L-band is available, still it is going to make a lot of sense for Globalstar, because it can deploy the IoT devices which can send signal to the satellite, and it can gather. It doesn't have to receive signal from the satellite. It can gather signal from these devices which are on ground, and by looking at those signals, it can basically tell the location of this device, or it can do various other functions which are important for IoT functions, right? Sending information, collecting information, because if you have lot of IoT terminals located throughout the country, then weather information can be sent, there are various things which, you understand, right? What is the purpose of IoT? So this also can be useful, right? But when I did this article, spectrum refarming, which was an initiative the government of India has taken for freeing up more spectrum for 5G and 6G technology, which our honorable minister made an announcement, I think in the month of January when I wrote this article. I went and looked at the frequency band which we've been talked about. So one is the 6 gigahertz band. There are two blocks here, right? 500 and 600 megahertz. And then there was a portion of frequency which is called L-band here. You see, the L-band is from 1451 to 1518. Note this frequency, this band. This is a 67 megahertz block. So whenever you talk about L-band, people might be thinking that L-band probably is being already opened up in India, because we have what? 1451 to 1518. But when we go to the Globalstar band, which is what? 1610 to 1621. And what I am talking about here? 1451 to 1518. These two blocks of spectrum do not overlap. Can you see this? This band and this band, which is currently being spoken of about opening at the part of the refarming, do not overlap. So therefore, Globalstar will have a huge problem in India. Why? Because Globalstar's both the access part of the block of the spectrum, which is the downlink, which is the S-band, which is blocked by NAVIC, and L-band, which is currently not in discussion to be opened up. So there has to be a lot of work to be done by Globalstar. Because I do not know how they are going to work, in conventional or in the commercial Apple devices, the same Apple devices. Because Apple, when they might have commercially fabricated their devices, might have incorporated these frequencies. Without these frequencies, how can a commercial Apple device work? It can't, right? So if Globalstar is going to be focused only on these two frequency band, it's not talking about opening up any other bands or looking at any other frequency band, then this whole announcement that we are seeing, Globalstar, Apple's Satcom partner joining to enter the Indian space communication market, becomes a little irrelevant. That is the point which I wanted to talk about. It may not be that interesting, but when a headline like this is published, people get a feeling that, look, we are going to get something completely different, and we will be able to leverage the same benefits which Globalstar Apple partnership have been able to deliver in US, Canada, and other parts of the world. But the problem in India is that India regulatory setup is very complex. You have to work for decades to get frequency spots released. Now friends, before I close, I would like to show you Globalstar's, just a minute, I would like to show you the Globalstar's worldwide coverage map, because this is important. Now, if you go to Globalstar's website here is the Globalstar website, and look at the voice coverage, voice and SMS coverage, you'll notice that North America is covered, South America is covered, Europe is covered, Korea and some part of Mongolia is covered, but India and rest of the world is not covered. So that is probably the interest that Globalstar has. Look, they have a huge footprint. Now, the advantage Globalstar has is that when you have frequency which is harmonized across the globe, then you don't have to deal with mobile operators. You can have your own spectrum. Similarly, in India, if they have frequencies which are completely independent of the mobile operators, then it becomes a very simple deployment to execute. Otherwise, what happens if you are using conventional mobile spectrum? Because if you are going to have a commercial mobile device, you need to have a commercial spectrum. You can't really come out with your own spectrum, because that spectrum, if it is something completely different, is not going to get integrated into a commercial mobile device. So for that commercial mobile device, for the commercial mobile device to deliver, say, satellite services, like in the manner which Globalstar is talking about, the frequency band has to be integrated into the device, and that is a very complex, exercise from a worldwide perspective. And therefore, the Globalstar solution is quite simple, because what they have done is they have been able to extract certain frequency band in the low frequency band, not in the high, because high frequency band you can't integrate on mobile for all this communication purpose. You need to have low frequency band, L-band, right? S-band, right? Not at the Ka and Ku band. That's not going to work. So Globalstar has been quite successful, right, in doing this. But in Indian region and other parts of the world, in China, I don't know what's going to happen. There's to be a lot of regulatory work which is required, for which you need to do a lot of effort on grounds. Just applying for a license is not going to help. That's all I wanted to talk about, friends, in this video, because I saw this headline and I found that it is important to describe the complexity that is required to be solved on ground before this whole partnership, Globalstar Apple partnership, can work in India. Thank you, friends, for your time, and I hope that you like this video, and I'll come back with a new video on a new topic next time. Thanks for listening till the end. Thank you very much.